Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Get Me Off the Moon official podcast. And I know it's been a while since we did one of these, but we're back in the loop now with some pretty exciting topics to discuss, I dare say. So if you guys don't know me, I'm Skybane0. I'm the co-host of this podcast, and joining me today is...
Hi there, I'm Tim. I'm one of the original hosts of the podcast. It's been a while I've been part though, so nice to meet you again.
I'm David, co-founder of the Get Me Off the Moon page.
Hey guys, I'm Hypershell, longtime fan, happy to be here.
Hi, I'm Ryan, and I pay exorbitant amounts of money to get books printed and ship them to Japan. And then get nothing in response several months later. Thanks, Osaka!
The circle is complete.
Well, I did that with a few CDs and keychains, but okay.
Yeah,
Books are heavy.
$25 to send it to Japan.
Good point.
Well,
Send me nothing. America at least had the courtesy to send me a form letter.
yes, they did, and that's something.
And they never sent me anything ever again.
Well, I mean, hopefully they will later on, but we'll see. But yeah, we have gathered here today to discuss some pretty big news in the world of Mega Man right now. Mega Man 11! Yes, the next entry in the classic series, which was announced by Capcom Unity on December 4 via a special live stream that they hosted for the 30th anniversary of Mega Man. And yeah, we know that people have been talking about this news for quite a while now, but we thought it would be cool to get together and share our opinions about it. So, Tim, why don't you start us off here? What did you think of the news when you first heard about it?
Well, when I was talking to Ryan about it, I was pleasantly surprised, but at the same time, I kind of wish there was a bit more to it.
Okay, and why do you say that?
Well, like I said, it was a pleasant surprise, but looking at it too, it feels like it's obviously it's still in early development, but I have really great hopes for it. I heard the man who was like the dev for the Strider remake,
Yes.
he's pretty much the head of this whole game, so I have I feel very confident this could be a really great thing coming out. So those are my thoughts.
Nice, and not only the director for Strider, but Masakazu Waguchi and Yuji Ishihara have been announced on the team as well. And of course, those two were on board the Mega Man Legends 3 project back in 2010. So it's cool to have, like, the family back together again to an extent. And we'll talk about that a bit later. But David, how about you? What were your thoughts when you caught wind of this announcement?
We're there!
That's right, you were with us at the live stream, so tell us about that. What was going through your head at the time that you didn't utter to us at the live stream?
A lot of things I can't say on the podcast. Like, about friggin' time. It's only been, how many years?
7.
And just, it's about time. I'm really hyped to see another Mega Man game. And it's my excitement for it kind of with my excitement that maybe it will lead to other Mega Man stuff, but we'll talk about that topic in a little bit.
Yeah, right. And Paul, how about you? I know that you were particularly psyched about this announcement, if I understand correctly.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a big deal. Like, Mega Man 11 isn't the first thing on my list, but I was really excited to just see, like, finally a modern take on Mega Man at all.
Right,
just because, you know, 9 and 10, going back to 8-bit, and it was cool when 9 did it. It was kind of old even when 10 came out, honestly. But, like, even just from a standpoint of visuals, you know, the best Mega Man graphics we ever saw were basically Command Mission. You know, like, you haven't seen Mega Man, like, updated like that. It was really rushed, too. Just... Honestly, though, Mega Man 11 was kind of the least surprising part of the anniversary to me, because all the classic imagery before that stream, and then Nintendo and Sony retweeted it, so it's like, okay, this shouldn't be just, like, clothing lines and stuff. There should be an actual something video game related there for them to be retweeting it. I mean, jeez. But, there was, you know, I mean, we got news of the compilations also, which I thought was really cool.
That it was really
the whole X series coming out, and the Legacy collections moving to the Switch, which felt a little apologetic to me, because a lot of people, myself included, ripped into Capcom over the second Legacy collection and the fact that it skipped the Switch.
Right. David, did you want to say something quickly there?
And that it's really refreshing that Capcom's making a new game
Yeah.
Yes.
New game, something that they haven't made before.
Yes. Very true.
Right. Yeah, and that kind of ties into what I was going to say about it. Like, myself personally, I was blown away by this news when it was first released. Like, seriously, I wasn't just lost for words, I was lost for breath. Because I grew up on Classic. It was like one of the first Mega Man series I was exposed to. So Mega Man 11 was a huge deal for me. And I was particularly happy to see not just a new Mega Man game, but like a new Mega Man game. You know, something that actually looked like it had a modern take on things. But yeah, I just thought it was great to see Capcom finally moving ahead with Mega Man. Because honestly, I thought they'd just been stuck in a rut for so long with that 8-bit rehashing.
Yeah, definitely. 9 especially. Like, 9 was just pretending to be Mega Man 2, I think. 10 aged a little better.
Well, to kind of go off on that, though, I think part of it, too, is another thing we forgot since the last game was released was Mega Man and Smash, right?
Well, yeah.
So we saw such a, like, perfect design of what a modern Mega Man looked like, and then you kind of walk into this, and it feels really, really early, like early access sort of thing.
I wouldn't say that, except maybe the walking animation. I really like the design, like the visuals and everything. I think.
Oh, the backgrounds look amazing.
The character models too, though. I think, like even the little things, like the beam-in effects and the buster shots and everything. I think that all looks great.
I guess I might have phrased it pretty bad. It's just slightly rough around the edges. Just slightly.
Yeah, you know, I don't consider myself a fantastic judge of graphics, but
Yeah.
you know, to me,
Well, that's
to me,
the
this
thing.
is fine.
Like, it's nice to see it, you know, modern. It doesn't necessarily have to be bleeding edge.
Yeah, see, that's how I see things. This meets my standards personally. It seems to be moving ahead, and at the same time, bringing something to the table that we can all recognize. I personally think the graphics look good for now, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they develop in the future. Oh, and I'm particularly happy about the fact that, and we can introduce this as a segue, I think, Masakazu Waguchi and Yuji Ishihara from the Mega Man Legends 3 project are back on board for Mega Man 11.
Yes!
And, I love what those guys brought to the table for Legends 3, and I think there's a lot they could do for Classic as well.
That kind of wraps into the whole things to come as well as this.
Yeah, right, we could talk about that too. But, oh, Ryan, excuse me, have you not spoken yet?
I've been quiet the whole time. You've been hitting on most of the points, but if you want me to say something...
No, please do. I invited you here for a reason.
I was ready to be wholeheartedly disappointed. I was drinking earlier that morning, and I had work after that, so I was wholly ready for a repeat of TGS. I was ready for Boot Part 2.
I think we were all there at the initial announcement of the stream. That was kind of
it's just like
reaction.
So they warm us up with X Collection, and it's just like, oh, okay, that's nice. Oh, they're finally putting it on Switch. It's just like, oh, okay, Legacy Collection 1 and 2 also on Switch. I'm like, okay, that's okay, but, so I'm still waiting for this. And then they show the lengthy anniversary trailer, and I'm just like, okay, they're building up to something, and not even they acknowledge Street Fighter Cross Mega Man's existence, which got a chuckle at it. They'll acknowledge Mega Man Soccer happened, but they won't.
Well, like I said,
they'll acknowledge Rockman crossover, but...
I found that weird because officially I don't think we ever saw the name Mega Man crossover ever before. That was because it never left, Japan,
or
China,
Korea.
and Korea.
Yeah. And then it finally comes to the door, and it's like this HD Mega Man, and I'm like, what is this? This is 11. Oh my... Because Brian, Proto-Dude, had posted a poll on Twitter the night before, and it's just like, okay, what are you expecting? Something, anything, nothing, or Mega Man 11? And everybody was just saying, nothing. Like, everybody's expectations were set accordingly, and it's just like, well, this looks honest to God.
Yeah, I would have said that if not for the Nintendo and Sony retweets. That was basically security blanket going into that.
Like, I'm thankful that they didn't fall back on the 8-bit style just for a cheap nostalgia's sake, but this honestly looks stunning. Like, I legitimately have hope for the future for once in my life. I mean, after 6 years of just constant disappointment and whatever the 25th anniversary was, and I was just expecting, it's going to be merch, more merch, and nothing else. Go away. See you 35th anniversary.
It's so difficult being optimistic.
Yeah. If I may get a bit conspiratorial here, I saw this posted on Twitter, and I kind of agree with this. It was some guy. I think it was Trill Lizard 420. If he ever listens to this, he won't. But still. Basically, I'm pretty sure that the suits at Capcom were just shying away from making a new Mega Man game for like 7 years after Inafune left just to spite him. And now that he's been unpersoned by the general gaming public after the thing happened, they're just like, you know what? Let's make a new Mega Man game.
Maybe.
I'll take a slightly less conspiracy theory on that and say...
I'm not claiming to know
that,
anything.
I think that what happened within Capcom is just... There's a lot of people in Capcom's walls who are passionate about Mega Man. I definitely got that from Legends 3 dev room back in the day, and I saw some of that in the 30th anniversary stream as well. I think that just Inafune was kind of the guy who usually was the one spearheading it, and so without him, like, there were people who wanted to do it, but it just took a very long time before anyone took the initiative.
Yeah, I think he was really the glue holding whatever team he made together, at least, or at least he was sort of the guy who just steered the ship in a direction, pointed them in a direction, and said, "Go with it."
And the developers actually stated that themselves in an interview.
And that's the thing, like,
I'm surprised they actually mentioned
so
Inafune during the stream.
Yeah, one of the things I love so much about that stream is like seeing Iguchi and the other guys there. It's like we have a face to put on the Mega Man franchise again.
Yes.
Because since Inafune left, and it's even worse in the US because, like, with Capcom's community, we also lost on our end Seth Killian and Christian Svensson.
Seth's gone, Sven's gone, Brett's gone, Greg's gone.
Yeah, so it's like, who do you even connect to the Mega Man franchise anymore? And I really feel like the anniversary stream really did a good job of addressing that. And you can tell it was directed at the West because we had Japanese developers trying to use English terms and stumble on them a few times.
Yeah.
Although we still don't really have a community coordinator, so to speak.
Yeah.
We have Kellen, but that's about it.
Yeah, but directed at the West.
He's trying to be Aaron Weber really bad and just... Not really. Not really.
Yeah, it's a very comforting thing, I think. Like, ever since Inafune's departure and the cancellation of all those Mega Man games before Mega Man 11, I know that a lot of fans have been seriously concerned that there might not be anyone in Capcom who still cares about Mega Man. So I thought it was a really important thing that Capcom decided to bring in these developers that we recognize from past projects that we were really crushed to see the cancellations of, namely Legends 3, of course.
Absolutely.
That was never a concern to me personally. I'm a little weird as a Mega Man fan in my opinion of Inafune, and I have nothing but respect for the man, but I do think that the fan base really put him on a pedestal. And I'm not just saying that because of Mighty Number 9. That's been my opinion for a very long time. Even since R20 came out, really.
Well, he's very recognizable. He used to do a lot of the interviews, right?
He is, yeah. And I mean, I got to meet him at Comic-Con, and I was totally psyched for that. And still am. Still glad I did. But I mean in terms of public perception, yes, that's a problem. Because, like I said, no one really has a face to connect to.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. Inafune, he was like the main guy who came up. Every time there was a big Mega Man announcement, he was the one who came up and told us about it. There wasn't really anyone else. Like, you'd occasionally see a Gucci dressed up as Mr. Famous, and from time to time there would be people helping Inafune to announce things. But Inafune was almost always the main guy at the head of the wagon with those new announcements. So it's understandable to me that he became that face of the Mega Man franchise for a lot of people.
I mean, they exaggerated his involvement a bit, I think, because there were a couple of Mega Man games where his involvement was pretty minimal, and, you know, opinions vary on them, but there were some good ones, there were some bad ones.
Right,
but,
right. And
also, I personally am of the opinion that his influence in the later games, like PSP and onwards, was just really not that great. I mean, a lot of those games were good, but definitely could have been better.
He didn't really have a lot of an active hand in a lot of that stuff. He was just mostly overseeing projects, if I remember correctly. He didn't have that much time to, like, coordinate with the teams.
I'm not totally sure about that. A lot of the stuff from back then is rumor, so I don't want to say for sure, but I mean, so we got Iguchi now, we got Who else was on there? I was meaning to read up about the other people we saw, and I just never got time for it before this podcast, unfortunately. So I know we had Gucci, I know we had Ishikawa. Who are the other two again?
Ishihara. Ishikawa's a freelancer now.
Ishihara. Okay.
Pro Jared.
The composer
Pro
for Star
Jared, I
Force is
remember.
on there.
Well, I mean
Yes.
the Japanese developers. I don't mean the. I don't mean the
Pizza
Western
guy.
He's joke.
Joke.
Well, I only joined in kind of when, because Ryan was DM, he was messaging me during when he was watching it, right? And then slowly when he announced, he's like, yeah, no, they got, what was it, the Mega Man X part, and I'm like, okay, that's around the time I kind of looked in on the live stream.
Well, that was very early, though. They basically opened with Mega Man X.
Because he mentioned the YouTubers like the Pro Jared, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not interested. And then he started like, oh no, they're actually announcing games. Okay, I'm a little curious to see where this is going.
It started with the pre-stream, and that was going on for what, 20, 30 minutes?
Or an hour or so.
Oh, I didn't watch that.
Yeah.
I heard them reference it, but I didn't see it.
Yeah, Pro Jared, Mega Ran, and some speedrun person that Skybane knows or something.
I saw a Mega
when
Man
I say X was near
but-
the beginning, I mean near the beginning of the actual 30th anniversary video. That if you were to pull it up on their Twitch page now, that thing that you're talking about, they did that separately beforehand.
Yeah, they were in some guy's basement answering trivia questions.
So, some sort. Yeah, I think I heard some say something about like some kind of I don't know, like sing off or something or speed runs. I don't know.
They were trying to draw pictures of things.
Okay.
Like they were trying to draw Jump and Shoot Man.
Like trivia style get-ups with it.
Trivia, yeah.
Doing the last one they did was a guess the music thing, which they
Right. Okay.
friggin' nailed. So
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think that
That's
gives
the
us.
All I remember that happened was the speedrunner guy tried drawing a serve bot, and after they guessed it correctly, I just typed Legends 3 confirmed in the chat, and then just that started a cascade. Just Legends 3 confirmed, Legends 3 confirmed.
Oh, I wish I could have seen. Now I wish I saw it.
Yeah, I think the replay saves the chat. I don't know.
that's why you go to the pre-stream events. You don't go to watch the event. You go there to connect the dots like a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist, and then just scream out "Legends 3 confirmed," and then just get that
And then
going.
just watch the fanboys swarm.
Watch everything devolve into just a madness, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, all of the Legends 3 comments just continued throughout the stream. Most of them
Oh,
fueled
man.
by me.
I did a few.
I'm
of
an
them, too.
angel of chaos. What can I
Well,
say?
you know what? You can be happy and not be content, and that
Yeah.
I kind of think that's where we need to be right now, as far as Legends 3 is concerned.
Yeah.
Like, yes,
Well,
thank you, Mega Man's back. Now, what else you got? Legends, please.
Well, no, I'm glad that they're bringing Mega Man X8 because that's like the only X game I haven't played yet.
I'd say it's a
So-
good game.
It is.
Yes, indeed. But going back to Mega Man 11, I have another question for you folks. What do you guys think this new game will mean for the Mega Man franchise as a whole, and specifically, of course, because, you know, we're all about Mega Man Legends here, what do you think it'll mean for the chances of Legends 3 down the line?
I would say the potential is there only if
Yeah.
you kind of look at the overall sales in the end of what it could be, right? It's because, like, what was it, the PlayStation show, the PSX show? They announced, like, this is just for comparison, but they announced Medieval, like, a remaster, right? And they basically said, you know, if this sells well, we're gonna make a true sequel to it. And I'm kind of looking at that in the same way with Mega Man 11, which, you know, when I feel the demand is there, but it could probably branch out to a lot of things. It's very hard to tell, at least personally at this time, just to what extent it would be.
Right. David, what about you? What did you think?
I think Mega Man 11 could actually be fairly important. Not just for the hopes of getting like a Mega Man Legends 3, but for Capcom in general. Not so much outright in sales, but perhaps developers in general. Because interviews were talking about how a lot of different people sort of threw ideas at the wall to see stick, so to speak,
Yeah.
and who would get to head sort of a Mega Man project. And it was implied that there was at least more than one person a Mega Man game through. So, if Mega Man 11 does decently, perhaps the Capcom higher-ups won't be so inherently like hostile towards the idea of making another Mega Man game, or making a Mega Man game in one of the spin-off series that haven't seen a game in a long time.
Yeah.
To get the project heads from the Legends 3 team to be developing a game, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there needs to be sort of an attitude shift towards developers to make games. Otherwise, we're just going to see Mega Man 11 and then maybe X Collection, and that might be it. If there's no attitude shift, nothing's going to happen. If they're not willing to budge and at least indulge the fans a little bit, because Mega Man's not really the biggest system seller, unfortunately. I wish the contrary were true. Of like, Stance is sort of a big video game franchise that a lot of video game culture kind of latched onto, like the whole digital gaming font typeface and all that stuff, or a whole lot of sound effects used in like streamers' soundboards and stuff. So he's like a part of the culture, I guess, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
It's just there haven't been many games, and they don't always sell. Well, there have been a lot of games, but there haven't been many games recently, and they don't always sell like gangbusters. And unless Capcom internally is more willing to put out sort of like a smaller budget game, well, not sure how long Mega Man's going to last at Capcom internally. But they're taking steps in the right direction. Like, absolutely. The ones that they showed us that they're taking, those are the right moves to make, in my opinion. And hopefully it leads at some point getting Legends 3, which would be the best case scenario. And then maybe some other new spin-off series, because, you know, why the heck not?
Yeah, right.
Maybe Over One will finally get the recognition he deserves. Probably not. Never,
I
ever.
haven't thought on that. Well, first of all, I do think that Capcom, from what I'm seeing, and I mean, I'm guessing obviously, but I think that they are going through a bit of a shift right now. Just the last couple Mega Man games we did get, you know, rewind back to before Legends 3 was announced, or even, you know, when the dev room was active. Most other Mega Man games besides that, even the fans were starting to get a little tired. They were starting to stagnate a bit. I know a lot of people who thought that, like, Legends 3 would have been a breath of fresh air, because, like, one of the things I'm excited for with Mega Man 11, he slides again.
I know.
With Universe, counting Universe, which of course was cancelled, but had Universe released, that would have been 4 classic games in a row where they removed the slide, starting with Powered Up. Powered Up, 9, 10, and Universe. Enough!
It's true.
Enough of chasing Mega Man 2's shadow. Alright? So I'm really excited about that. But that's the thing, is that Mega Man, before the franchise just went kaput 7 years ago, he was in kind of a rut. And I mean, yes, 9 and 10 were good. I like them both, especially 10. But it was starting to get stagnant, and I don't think Universe really wasn't generating that much buzz. When it got canceled, yeah, people were upset. It certainly wasn't anything like Legends 3. But, like, I got to play it at Comic-Con, and it didn't control that good, and it's another freakishly alienating art style, just like Powered Up was. You know, and then we see Mega Man 11. So, I mean, we're juggling between that, between something completely off the wall, and then, back to NES. But then we have Mega Man 11, where we actually have what feels like a proper progression for a change. It's like, I love the design. It's kind of like a halfway point between the older Mega Man and Smash Brothers, you know? So it's like not as...
I see a lot of Volnut in this.
Not as gritty and detailed as Smash Brothers, but like I said, kind of the halfway point. And I think it looks great. I love it. So, like, I think that the new blood in Mega Man, and I think that even just Capcom approaching that type of game says a lot. And in addition to that, now here I'm going to get into what I was talking about with Over 1. I think they're going to throw in some Easter eggs to the other series. I think they are trying to get some good buzz with the fans, and they know that whatever game they make, obviously it's not going to satisfy everyone. And the reason I say that is two things. First of all, the stream completely surprised me that there was anything but Classic Series in it. The fact that they started with X, the fact that they had, you know, Sigma, X, Zero, Data from Legends, and also the Battle Network logo on the wrapping paper. It's not much, but hey. But like to see that, and then to see the history video running through all the different series, I was not expecting that, because leading up to the stream we saw nothing but Classic Series imagery. Like even those big packages they sent out, the birthday cake was clearly Classic inspired.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was one thing. And the other is Game Informer screenshots and their article. One of the screenshots shows a Star Force costume.
Yeah, it does.
Star Force is as irrelevant to the Classic Series as you can get within the Mega Man franchise. There's no reason that should be there. And like I've heard some people say, well, maybe it's like early testing or something, and I'm like, nah, we saw early testing with the Legends 3 dev room. They don't use Star Force for that.
Yeah,
That's true.
And you notice, I don't know how many people pick this up, but it's not a one-to-one translation of the Star Force Mega Man. It's the helmet and the buster and the color scheme.
Yeah.
So it's the same transition as with the special weapons, like with the brick power. Same thing, like color change, weapon arm, and helmet.
Who knows?
So,
maybe there will be other weapons that sort of are callbacks to...
That could be. I'm personally thinking something more cosmetic, but maybe there will be something to it, I don't know. But I think there will be costumes from the other series like that, like besides Star Force, that
Pretty cool.
we'll be seeing. I mean, this is my prediction. I could be wrong, but I seriously expect to see like an X costume and a Volnet costume.
Or the Monster Hunter costume.
That could happen. Hey, there's Mega Man gear for the felines in Monster Hunter.
Yeah, it doesn't exactly look very pretty though.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
It's pixelated, and it is what it is.
It looks like the Beck costume from Yaiba Ninja Gaiden Z, if you ever played that.
So I do think Mega Man 11 will have some Easter eggs for the other series that we should keep an eye open for that. The other thing is, since we're getting X Collection, which again I honestly was not expecting, at least not for the 30th anniversary. But, you know, maybe if they're not ready to make the jump directly into Legends 3, we could start banging their door down for a Legends Collection.
Yeah, and it's like you suggested earlier, it seems like the developers are aware that they aren't going to be able to please everyone, all the various Mega Man fans, by releasing this classic title. And that's why I thought it was reassuring that one of the developers, I want to say it was Oda, said in that stream that they wanted Mega Man 11 to lead to a full-scale revival of the franchise. Now, he didn't say the classic series, he said the franchise.
Yeah.
Which leads me to think that the developers really want to find some way of making all the fans happy, and granted, that's a really difficult thing to do because all the Mega Man series are so different, but I really do appreciate that apparent eagerness to please all the fans by, like, cameos of the other series and stuff.
Yeah, if you could do that, at least give them some acknowledgement. Like, remember when they revealed Mega Man's Final Smash and Super Smash Brothers?
Oh,
holy crap! If they can do that with Mega Man 11, with like a costume selection or something, that would be
They need
awesome.
to do that with Mega Man 11. They just need to start making Mega Man games again,
Exactly.
and that will please all the fans.
And I love the new gear powers, like when he has like that hyper mode or whatever's going on. Like, just to see them actually advance the franchise like that, it really does feel like they're trying to push forward and, you know, not just retread what Mega Man's already done.
Right.
And, you know, hopefully Legends 3 can fall in line with that. And like I said, if they're not ready to make that jump, we can ask them for a Legends Collection next. Logical next step. We got Classic, we got X.
Yep.
Well, another thing to consider, and I forgot to mention this, but especially this whole year, like a lot of niche titles, specifically ones that came from Japan, right?
Mm-hmm.
like they've been selling very well for the most part. Like, what was it, Nier?
Yeah, near Automata.
Nier Automata. Like that sold well above expectations, right? And it was actually, it's a very niche title. It never really sold that much when it first released.
To be fair,
but yep,
I've been a fan of the Drakengard series, which is what Nier is a part of. And I'm also a Platinum fan. And it was with that exploding was those two groups of people sort of colliding. It was like if you put together two niche franchises, that being Platinum fans and then Drakengard fans, it was a whole lot of people. And it also already had the buzz from having a really stellar soundtrack because the director was the same person, and it had all the relevant cast from making Nier were the same people, like in Nier Automata. And then they just added Platinum for the gameplay's sake, and weird thing to happen. I'm still shocked that it even exists.
Oh, it's an amazing game. What I'm getting at, though, is, I'm sure Capcom sees the trend. Like, yes, there is a demand for very niche titles. There's a demand, especially for, Japanese-inspired games, anime-ish, which Legends, I think, fits perfectly. So I think...
Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Oh my god, I love that.
Just throwing that out there. Because that...
Man.
You want to talk about a playable anime?
The rabbit hole for me.
And
oh god,
how many of us remember that? I want to go to Elysium with you. Like, okay, we got the blue kid salvaging ancient technology with a red girl going to Elysium. How is this not Mega Man Legends? It's made by Monolith. They made Project Cross Zone. They've already worked with Tron and the Serve bots.
Yeah,
it'll be a copy my homework situation.
Very odd.
But the overall point I'm getting at is I'm very, very like that in succession with like what you guys mentioned about the devs and the fact that they're making a game. Like I'm actually all that together is making me very hopeful about Legends.
It is, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Well, Ryan, I don't think you've given your 2 cents on this matter yet. Did you want
Yeah,
to...
you guys have been just giving so much good input, so I've just been sitting back relaxing. But, alright, so let's play a fun time game of self-aware conspiracy theory, shall we?
Woo!
Yes.
Okay, so, Mega Man Legacy Collection comes out 2 years ago. First 6 Mega Man games. Simple. Then we got Legacy Collection 2, comes out in August of this year. The remaining 4 in the Classic series. Still no Mega Man in base, but whatever.
Dope.
Now we get the announcement that there's going to be a Mega Man 11. Next year, Mega Man X Collection comes out. Next year also happens to be, as Brian Protodude pointed out to me, the 25th anniversary of Mega Man X. Now, I'm not saying anything here. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Saying is Mega Man X versus Street Fighter.
All I'm saying is this may be a lead into something. We had the 2 Legacy collections being a lead into 11. We have an X collection coming next year, and the 25th anniversary coming up. This might be a lead into X9. Now, they wrote themselves into a corner by continuing the X series 3 games past when it was supposed to be, so they kind of have to finish this up. So maybe this may lead to an X9.
I object to that statement, but go on.
But no, I'm just saying, we had a re-release of the first 10 games, and now we're having an 11th. We're having a re-release of the first 8 X games. This might lead to an X9. Logically speaking, we might be getting a Legends collection soon after this. Of course, it's not going to contain 5 Island Adventures, because why would it? Why would they put effort into that? But all I'm saying is, this might not happen next year. Yeah. Well, I mean, they've released all 3 of them on PSN at this point, so it's just like, why not?
Well, they've released Mega Man and Base on Virtual Console, and guess what?
Yeah.
Well, it could always be a Switch title, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the point is...
Mega Mania? That uncancelled?
Alright, the Game Boy Collection.
Did you see the picture of the guy who kept his pre-order receipt for that?
Oh my god.
Brian retweeted a guy who had kept his pre-order receipt for that for like 12 years inside of his case for Anniversary Collection for the PS2.
Oh my god.
If I can find that, I'll link it to you later. But
that's about all that's left of that game at this point.
Alright, back on conspiracy. I have nothing to back this up with, but considering the timing of the X Collection and the 25th anniversary of the X series, this may lead to an X9, and eventually, I'm not saying next year, I'm not saying the year after, I'm saying this may eventually lead to a Legends collection and eventually a Legends 3.
Right. The next thing I could see
I need
happening...
to say something really quick.
Sure, go ahead.
They had never said that they were making an X collection. They just said
That's
that they were bringing all of the X games to all of the current gen platforms.
That's true, but
Well, I mean, the
a
Switch
lot
doesn't
of
have a
people have
virtual
made the point that it's very unlikely they're going to try to sell every single X game individually.
The distinction that needs to be made, for the sake of accuracy.
Yeah,
It's just
that's
like
true.
the-
That's true.
There's nothing saying that it's actually coming in a collection. It's just
Right.
they're bringing them there, and a collection would just be the easiest route to do it.
Yeah, and you know you're right. Josh and I have talked about this on occasion, but the next Mega Man sequel that I can personally see happening is Mega Man X9, just because there are so many X fans out there.
Yeah,
and
so
I think
many
it's
people
always-
want it.
Yeah, I mean,
So I
X
think that's-
speedrunning has taken off in the past few years. They put X in MVCI, they put him on the statue for the collector's edition, they made a pop out of him.
Right.
That had a
He's like-
GameStop exclusive variant.
Monolith also took their crack at him. He's in both Project Cross Zones.
Sigma's in MVCI as well, and he got
And
his own
Zero.
pop that has a Toys R Us variant.
Right. So it's a really popular series. I would argue that people want a new X game more than a new classic game. So that's something I
I
could
would.
see. Yeah, I mean, I would too, granted. Still doesn't beat Legends 3 for me, but...
Yeah,
Yeah,
same.
so I
Give
think X9 is the thing most likely to happen next. But after X9, I think the next logical choice would be Legends 3.
But
It's
such
really
a
obvious to
high-profile
me.
cancellation.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
so,
the
you know-
thing, though, is that, like I said before,
It
some
wouldn't
of
be a
this
safe bet.
stuff from the anniversary is coming off as a little bit apologetic, especially the Switch ports of Legacy Collection. I get the impression that they really are trying to build some goodwill here, and that it's not just, the paint-by-numbers bottom line. Because I feel like if they were doing that, they'd have still just stuck with the PS4 and called it a day. But I really think that... I mean, Legends is always going to be a touchy subject to some degree, but
Yeah.
I think they need to at least throw the Legends fans a bone. Like I said, I am expecting some kind of Easter egg in Mega Man 11, just for the other series in general.
Yeah,
Right.
like
We've seen Star Force already. I can't believe they're going to ignore the others, and that's just going to be, classic with a Star Force reference. I don't believe that for a second.
Yeah.
But no, Skybane, I was actually talking about that a bit with Dash on my wall a while back, and
Oh, were ya?
yeah, as far as, where do you go with the other series?
Yeah, because I mean, a new Battle Network game, under normal circumstances, I'd say that'd be the next most likely thing to happen because that series sold tons. But while I think a lot of people would be happy to get a new Battle Network game, I don't think it'd be the most logical choice, simply because that series had a definite ending. And then you can consider, okay, ZX, I'm personally really hoping that happens someday, but looking
I
at
want
the
that
logistics,
personally, but I think that's probably...
Yeah.
It's the most niche of the platformers, definitely.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say, so I don't think they'd be too likely to do that.
Did they ever finish up the whole story plot for, what was it, Star Force?
The story for it.
I would
Did I-
say the only definitive end is Zero. Because
Battle
you can
Network.
say that Battle Network is, concluded, and it did, but you could have said that about Classic with Mega Man 6. I mean, that ended with Wily
Well,
in jail. A
yeah,
lot of people
true.
obviously said that about X5, which I think X5 was a terrible ending, but I won't get into that. There actually came a point where Intercreate said that about Zero 3. For some reason, they thought Zero 3 was a good series ending, and a lot of people disagreed with them.
I disagree with them too.
Yeah, I do too. But remember, originally Zero 4 was going to be like a mid-quill because they thought they were done with that, and then they realized, oh, yeah, we kind of left the world in the bad guys' hands. I guess we should do another one.
Yeah, but didn't that
Right,
lead
right.
into ZX?
Well, that's what I'm
did.
saying. That's what I'm
ZX.
saying, is that the Zero series is only one that is definitively ended to me. Like, if they wanted to do more Battle Network, yeah, Battle Network ended, but if they decide to pick it up again, they could. Zero really ended hard. Like,
Zero had a
Yeah.
hard ending,
yeah.
and they did it because
And
they
it
didn't
does
want to make
lead
another
into
one.
ZX. ZX really is 0-5 in a lot of ways. It's just there's a big time gap.
Right,
They ended
right,
Zero
right.
the way they did because they wanted a definitive, we're not making another one.
hmm Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, that's like the only hard ending that I would say there is in the Mega Man franchise. And the best one, I'd say.
What do you think are the odds of them actually deciding to create a new side series?
I hope not. They might. I know people have talked about tying into Man of Action, but
Yeah, right.
I feel like we've got 7 series, 8 if you count crossover, which the stream actually acknowledges. So that's enough.
Well, I think what we generally all think is that Mega Man 11, it's a good first step. The developers, at any rate, it seems like they know what the fans want, they know what Mega Man's all about, and they know, just like the essence of Mega Man, and to know that there are people on board the Mega Man franchise who know what they're doing, who are really down to earth, and just have a good, genuine grasp of Mega Man, I think it gives a lot of hope for the franchise.
Can I just say, obviously 2018 is going to be a huge year for Mega Man, especially for Switch owners,
Yeah.
19 games in total. Capcom, please, keep it going. Beyond that,
Yes, please. Please
And
keep it going. And if anyone
thank
Capcom
you,
happens to listen to
every
this,
single one of you who is
Yes.
contributing to that.
yes, Capcom, if you're listening to this, which I don't know if you will, but if you are, major props to you folks. We think you're totally taking steps in the right direction. But remember, we will always be polling for Legends 3. So,
Yes!
if you ever feel like developing a new 3D Mega Man title, get on that. That seems like a good
Yeah.
idea. Alright, so David, I understand that you attended a pretty neat event earlier this week, which will probably be a couple weeks by the time this podcast goes up, but Mega Mania, a Mega Man fan convention located in Florida. So how was that? Did you have any stories to share about it?
Really fun. I went down there with Monica, who's the other co-founder of the page.
Yeah.
It was just outside of Orlando.
Nice.
It was held by Ungaku Overdrive, who basically just try to organize a bunch of video game-centric events, mostly musical events, down in the Orlando area, run by one of our good buddies. Yeah, there was a costume contest. There was a giveaway of a bunch of codes for Collection 2. They gave away sound effect Mega Busters. That was signed by Megaran, the Bit Brigade, Kaddish Fresh, I think.
Kadesh Flow?
Man.
Kadesh Flow, thank you. And the Megas.
Nice.
Gave away a bunch of posters and a bunch of other swag. Really fun.
Cool, and I understand that those bands actually performed at Mega Mania. How were those performances?
There were so many people there just being loud, having fun. I haven't actually had a chance to see the Megas perform live in person. So, like, being there for that, I saw Megaran a couple of days before that because he hit up the town that I live in.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
So I saw him on his Extra Credits tour. That was a really fun show. And then seeing him again, it was such a crazy show. I had like no voice by the end of it.
Yeah, and I believe you told me that Megaran, he did a freestyle with one of your items.
Typically, it seems he said that whenever he's doing a set, he likes to freestyle if he has the time.
Yeah.
Audience to hold up something, whatever they have on their person, and he'll freestyle. And I was holding up my. I have a jacket with a Tetris Attack patch on the back. I was holding that up. He freestyled that. It was great.
Yeah, dude is like phenomenal. I've seen him live about 6 or 7 times at this point, and once I actually got him to just break down laughing and stop in the middle of it.
Oh,
Like at the last possible minute, I pulled a horse head mask out of my backpack, and then he's just like, and then he just breaks down laughing, and the music cuts, and he's like, the last thing. And ever since then, I've just been trying to bring crazier and crazier things just to try to get him to trip up in the middle of it. Like, I brought a Tiger Game Com with me once, and he managed to work that in. Do I need to explain what a Tiger Game Com is?
What about your Galgun headpiece?
I haven't gotten him to freestyle about that yet.
Okay.
I was also playing a fan game that was releasing that day.
Do tell.
The developer of Mega Man Remix.
Ooh.
And he set up a little booth. There were speedrunning events being held so people could compete for the best time at the venue. But I decided to hang out with Mega Man Remix and played it, and I was one of maybe 2 people there who managed to get to a Robot Master. And if you don't know what Mega Man Remix is, it's stage generation mode from Mega Man 10. It's kind of just on PC, and then he made a few Robot Masters that he put interspersed every 30 screens. And it was pretty great. My favorite one was one that he made that was whose AI was based on Top Man, but it was like Disco Man, and he had like a disco ball for a head. Beam things from the ceiling, and he would just skate and spin around the stage, and it was hilarious, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Equip Disco Inferno.
I said maybe he should have, like, the weapon that it would give him is like a Giga Attack style thing, where Mega Man would just do one of those like dancing sprites that people decided to make. And like light laser beams would shoot all over the screen and kill everything. Many weapons in there yet, and all the Robot Masters were kind of early along, sort of programming their AI. But you can download like an early build, and he said that it was basically more like a proof of concept of his programming abilities, because he wants to make another Mega Man-esque game, fan game. But he was just using that sort of to his ability to work on the AI and physics and all that stuff.
I love that Capcom's just been historically cooler with fan games than, say, Nintendo has. It's amazing. Like, without fan
much
games,
everyone is cooler with fan games than Nintendo.
Fair enough. Square Enix, probably.
I don't know.
That's true.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just like, without fan games, we probably wouldn't have had anything to do the past 6 years or so.
That's true.
Yeah.
But no, people should check out Mega Man Remix because it's pretty fun. The physics are a little bit rough around the edges. I managed to get a good number of glitches. Like, you don't want to jump on ladders at all, because you'll end up making the screen, like, jitter and getting stuck between screens. One time where I managed to make Mega Man get stuck in the middle of his walk cycle, which was hilarious looking.
Well, it can be fun to explore the glitches, you know, even with a lot of official games. I love ending Mega Man 3 by making Mega Man, like, moonwalk to his spot for the ending after you defeat the final boss.
Yeah, but I wanted to give that a quick shout out because it was really cool, and I had a lot of time, and I had a really good time doing it, and I also managed to snag the high scores for the entire day. Let me upload that real quick.
Nice initials there.
Right.
Nice initials.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was a great day, just hanging out with a bunch of Mega Man fans. It was beyond expectations. Kind of the opposite of TGS in every way imaginable. No stray boots. There was a cool cosplay contest. There was just great stuff. And I hope they do it again next year. They sort of our buddy tossed around the idea of maybe doing another one next year, which if they do, I'm definitely going to go to because that was way too cool.
Nice. That sounds like a really cool experience, and I'm glad you got the chance to check that out.
There was some real cool stuff there, and it was just a great time. And there were a bunch of local artists selling fan art and stuff, and it was great. It was like a one-day convention.
Nice, nice. See, that seems to me like a particularly special event because there have not been a whole lot of Mega Man fan conventions. I think there was only one other, and that was... oh gosh. I can't remember the name of it right now. But it was a smaller one, in a smaller area. But that was like the only other fan convention I know of that was entirely focused on Mega Man, like this one that you attended.
Well, I mean, there was Mega Rock Fan Festa in Japan.
If I had to say, there might be a good shot of another one happening because this one sold out. Like, there were no more tickets to sell. So I could see another one happening just because it sold out. Any of you guys want to attend, buy tickets online before they sell out.
Right.
That seems like because we had stuff going until the last minute, and we couldn't really buying online, and we were the last tickets of the night.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Oh, that's how I know they sold out, because we got the last tickets.
Okay, well, thank you. Oh, did you have anything else to say?
No, I was just gonna ask, was there anyone behind you in the line when you bought those tickets, or?
Some people showed up later, but there wasn't really a line. It was just people coming in over the course of the day.
Ah.
Like, we ended up getting there a little bit late just because it was like a 2-hour-long drive, and there was some traffic troubles on the way.
Well, thank you, David, for sharing that information with us. And, man, awesome to hear you had a good time. And I'm glad you could go there, not only to represent us, but also to let us know just what the event was all about. Well, I guess we'd better be wrapping this up soon, so do you guys have anything else to say about Mega Man 11 and what it could potentially mean down the line?
Well, I mean, we're getting physical releases of it, so that's great for me.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's gonna
If they make it $200 collector's edition for that, I will buy all 3 versions of it. I will make continuous superfluous purchases just to support this if the slim chance that a Mega Man Legends 3 comes out of it.
Yeah.
I hope one does. Of course, I really want Legends 3, but if it leads to more Mega Man coming out at all, I think that would be great. And that's where I want it to go. Just more Mega Man, because the more Mega Man we have, the better chances we get of Mega Man Legends 3.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Just more games is a healthier fan base and happy fans.
Oh,
Yeah.
Especially after the drought.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you could make the argument that you don't want to oversaturate the brand again, but after this drought, I think that more Mega Man games would be very welcome.
All you have to do is rotate the franchises that you make games of. Like, one year you can make like a Mega Man classic game, one year you can make an X game, one year you can make a new ZX or something, or rotate it out with Star Force, or rotate it out with a new RPG series that plays in the same style of Battle Network, but isn't because they finished that story.
You know,
I
they
don't
supposedly
care.
finished it, but then Operate Shooting Star happened.
No, what I'm saying is just like they can rotate the different styles of gameplay that they're putting out, all with the Mega Man name on it. And people are saying that the market's too saturated. If it's different genres of game, it won't be saturated.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They have enough ideas to where that wouldn't be a problem for a while.
Yeah, right.
They're
Good
creative
point.
folks.
Right. What about the rest of you folks?
Honestly, 2017 was a great year for games, and looking at what's going to come out in 2018, it's going to continue on to that, because honestly, Mega Man 11's coming out, a bunch of other stuff's coming out, but Mega Man 11 just looks great. This possibly is going to be a bright new future for the Mega Man franchise. I hope to see a lot more. I hope I'm right on my X theory. I hope I'm right that it leads into a Mega Man Legends HD collection.
Yeah.
But honestly, yeah. No, sorry, continue.
Or even just a remaster, like, you know, modern assets, right?
Yeah.
Not necessarily even need modern assets, just playable on current generation.
Yeah. I think that Legends 2 still holds up well, actually. That
Oh,
still
yeah,
is
it's
phenomenal for a PlayStation 1.
Like I mean, Mega Man Legends is kind of, if I may provide a weird analogy here, Mega Man Legends is sort of the Pinkerton of the Mega Man franchise. What I mean by that is this. You know the band Weezer?
Yeah.
Okay. So back in 1994, they released the Blue Album. Everybody loves it. It's a tried and true classic. That's the one that has My Name is Jonas on it. That's the one with Buddy Holly on it. 2 years later, they released their sophomore album, Pinkerton. That's the one that had El Scorcho on it. That's the one that had Pink Triangle on it, etc., etc. But that one was a lot more divisive back in the day. But nowadays, it is regarded as an all-time classic. And the Which is Better, the Blue Album, or Pinkerton is basically the music version of Which is Better, Mega Man 2 or Mega Man 3. So what I mean by that is a lot of people, even 5 or 6 years ago, looked down upon the Mega Man Legends franchise, but now that's gained greater notoriety thanks to groups like us and thanks to it being re-released on PSN, people are putting it on more just like, oh, top 10 games in the sequel list. And it's like, hey, where were you 5 years ago?
Yeah,
I mean, it's like-
exactly.
But I mean, it's just like,
I'm not going to hold that against them.
yeah.
Well, it's kind of like, at least in terms of art direction too, like with its overall design, it kind of has that similar feel of like Okami, where it's just very visually stunning, especially for the time, right?
Yeah.
So
Probably the best looking low-poly game I've seen.
What I meant by remaster was just like not change the core gameplay mechanics, but sort of do kind of like what Okami did, where it just brushed up and everything looked like way better, especially in the modern consoles.
Right.
It does have a very charming art style, and I think that's what a lot of people would say, is that the art style is charming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's how I look at graphics. Like, it doesn't need to be high end, but it should have something of a strong visual appeal or something that plays into the overall mechanics or the story.
Yeah, or the way I like to characterize the art style is personality. It has a lot of personality behind it.
It does, and I think it's just the in-engine cutscenes that really add to it.
Yeah, seriously.
You know, we were talking about Legends on PSN, and yeah, that was definitely a high point that I recall. Those were pretty high on the PSN charts.
They were, in the first few months of their release, they were on the top 10 list of best-selling PS classics.
Yeah, absolutely. Nevertheless, though, I mean, they were limited to basically the PlayStation 3 and, you know, maybe Vita if you had some...
PS4 had already come out.
And there were a lot of people who had already moved on to PS4 or what have you, so I really hope Legends gets revisited.
Yeah.
In terms of, like I said, a collection or a re-release or something, that would be really great, I think. But yeah, I love the direction Mega Man 11 is going. I think Capcom is a lot more conscious of the fan base and what they're looking for, and the fact that it's a very diverse fan base. Many of them are looking for different things. So I think at least we'll be seeing some nods and some Easter eggs, and I think, you know, we pounce on that and we keep letting them know what we want, and I do hope that they will take another crack at Legends in the relative future. But yeah, 2018 just looks to be amazing, so just gotta keep it up.
Yeah, totally.
Well, my overall thoughts on it, it's especially in regards to Legends 3, is like Ryan was saying about the theory of releasing like Mega Man X9 within a certain time frame, but honestly, I kind of got the impression with Mega Man 11 too, is that it kind of felt like a very sudden release, like they knew it was coming, but they just wanted to kind of show off something, which it looked very well done, right? Like, I know I was criticizing a little earlier, but I kind of just hope they have more planned, at least in terms of announcements.
Yeah,
like stuff they can say at a sooner time frame.
Well, I think they'll have more details about 11 to share as the year goes on, because I mean, we haven't seen any sign of Proto Man or of Base or of like the 7 other Robot Masters. And like I said, I really do expect there to be Easter eggs from the other series. I'm banking on that.
Can Duo make a comeback, please?
He's cool.
Oh man, Duo.
That would be cool.
But even with the trailer though, like, who knows what else they have planned in terms of, like, you know, how the game's gonna play. Maybe they'll have branching paths to give it a more modern feel.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, there's so much we don't know, but at the same time, it's working in Capcom's favor, because it's definitely caught a lot of our interests. So
yeah,
I'm excited. You know, my brother, he tagged me to it a couple times, and a bunch of other friends, and the more I look at it, the more I'm starting to appreciate it more, and yeah, hopefully we get a lot more coming out of this. Oh, didn't they announce like a Roll Nindoroid?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but that was at TGS.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I hope they have more announced, because it's a good start. I just hope they keep the momentum going.
That basically turned out to be the Mega Man 11 design, the roll hoodie.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that and the brick weapon were the two. Were basically Capcom leaking their own game.
Yeah, they teased in Legacy Collection 2, then the Nendoroid at TGS, and now, bada bing, bada boom, we got Mega Man 11.
Man, that is so weird when you think about it.
I know.
But I think that's a pretty good note to end on. So again, guys, thank you for tuning in. I don't know exactly when this podcast is going up, but if it happens to be released by the time of the 20th anniversary of Legends, well, happy Legends 20th anniversary, folks!
Woohoo! 20 years of letting them keep the toilet paper.
Yeah.
20 years of letting them keep the toilet paper. We're not
Thank you,
barbarians.
Diesel, for not being a barbarian.
Yeah, and you know, whether or not this is put out by the time of the 20th anniversary, I think it is worth mentioning. 20 years of Mega Man Legends. 6-7 years we've been... Gosh. Actually, counting the years before the Legends 3 project, this has been like, what, 15 years that we've been campaigning for a sequel?
16, I think, give or take.
Hang on. I actually have my Legends 2 case right here.
I have the Mega Man knowledge
copyright
base over
2000. Yeah, that's the English release is copyrighted 2000, so...
Yeah, April 20th, 2000.
Yeah, so...
God, that's crazy to think about.
17 years.
Yeah,
Boy.
but we are not looking to quit anytime soon, folks.
I've already come this far.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm super excited for Mega Man 11, but there's that part of me. There's that part of me that's constantly wanting a sequel to Legends 2.
Absolutely.
And I think that part will always be there so long as we don't have Legends 3. But, I'm hoping we get that someday, and, I'll always be asking for it, promoting it. And I dare say that many of our listeners are of like mind.
I have spent thousands of dollars trying to bring this game back.
Yeah.
We may not get our own Wikipedia page like the Earthbound fandom has, but if we get a game back, if we get the game back, that'll be worth it for me.
I'm just waiting for that day when they,
I
announce
was in
that it's
high
coming
school
back,
when
and
this
they say,
happened.
oh, by the way, the prototype, download that now.
God,
Yeah.
that would be crazy.
That's up tonight, and then,
It
we'll
should
get the
be-
full game out a few months later. That would be
And then the
my
eShop's gonna crash.
Well, excuse me for potentially saying something scandalous here, but I think this lack of Legends 3 kind of enables us to appreciate the Legends series more in a way. So, even if we never get Legends 3, I still gotta say, it's been an absolutely fantastic 20 years of, supporting Legends, playing those games, talking about, even just small things like kicking the can. It's been a great experience.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great seeing people rally for it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, looking back at everything that I've managed to do with Get Me Off the Moon and just the Legend series in general, just this game has altered the course of my life more than any other game that I can think
Oh,
of.
yeah.
I have gotten to interview KG in this game, and that is something that I wouldn't trade the world for. I thank every last one of you who has supported us through thick and thin. Everybody backstage, everybody who has supported this franchise, who has bought the games on PSN, who has promoted our page, promoted the games. People just, from the bottom of my cold, black, soulless heart, I thank you.
Yeah.
That means nothing from a 23-year-old bearded man who's underemployed, but just, I truly mean it. Thank you for everything you have done to keep this franchise alive.
Yeah, and
the
I
past
completely
20
echo
years.
those sentiments.
Here's
I'd
to
like give a
20
round of
more.
applause. I'd like to give a round of applause to all the people who are listening to this podcast and who continue to support us through thick and thin.
Woo! You are the best fans in the world, and I truly mean that.
We rule!
We are the greatest.
Yeah. It's been a great 20 years, and despite all the disappointments, I've fully appreciated every moment of it.
Legends
But,
3 had a huge impact on me. I
Yeah.
love meeting all you guys, getting to chat online like this. I got to meet in person Inafune, Seth Killian, Dash Trox, and it
wish
has
I was-
been a blast. Before
Yeah,
Legends 3,
first
I never
time.
drove myself out of state.
Yeah.
I kid you not. Just as okay, gotta get to New York, get the conventions,
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. And I mean, I personally learned a lot of skills by managing this group, like audio editing. I never did that before getting involved in this cause. And,
I learned how to author a DVD thanks to this game. That is a story in and of its own.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But yeah, maybe someday we'll be thanking Capcom for putting us through all this pain, providing they release Legends 3 someday.
I gotta thank all you guys for just coming together and
Keeping this thing going.
Well, it's been a community effort. None of us have done this alone, and gosh, I think the whole movement would have fallen apart in a day if it weren't for the efforts of, everyone in Backstage, everyone on the Get Me Off the Moon page, who have been so supportive, who have been so talented and creative in coming up with ideas, and it is crazy for me to think about. But, yeah, the collective effort that's gone into all this has just been incredibly impressive.
nuts.
I can't compare it to anything I've ever experienced in my life, personally. So yeah, it's been a blast, and I hope that we'll be able to share another 20 years together, everyone, regardless of whether Legends 3 is made in that time or not.
I'm gonna be dead by then.
And I hope it is, granted. But regardless of whether or not it is, I hope we can continue to support the series and show Capcom that Legends is magical.
Yeah. There is a huge level of passion, I think, behind the Legends series, and just like among the fans and even among the developers. Like, I have such fond memories of the dev room when that was running.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing like a glimpse of that with Mega Man 11, and that's what I love so much about that announcement and that stream. Is just for the first time since the Legends 3 dev room was up, it's like you get that magical feeling. It's like, holy crap! You know, we can all gush together with people at the other side of the world, and just
yeah, it's amazing.
Learning the Japanese people liked my interview skills. Just like, oh my god, random Japanese people approve of me.
I know. Oh, you want to talk about what? Oh my gosh.
That's more approval.
I'm actually Facebook friends with Reika Morishita.
Oh,
so cool. Awesome.
And like, she's handed me likes when I post pictures of my daughter online.
So cool.
Like, holy crap.
Yeah, shoutouts to her really quickly. She doesn't get talked about a whole lot these days because she doesn't do very many Legends things, but she's still big in the music industry. So, yeah, you know, major props to that woman. She's still really supportive and really cool.
Yep.
But, you know, I think that's a pretty good note to end this on. So, again, guys, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you whenever there's stuff worth talking about in the world of Mega Man, I guess, which it looks like there will be in the coming year.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, we will see you guys whenever we see you, and until next time, keep fighting the good fight, and as always, Legends never die.
Legends never die.
Legends never die.
Alright, see you folks, and stay legendary.
Well, to be fair though, I have seen some quality fan art since then.
Yeah.
But
high quality
crossovers,
merchandise.
Yeah. Merchandise.
Mega Man the urn. Mega Man the cowl.
Mega Man the flamethrower.
Mega Man the boot.
Hang on. I have a list somewhere here. Okay, Mega Man the sweatpants, Mega Man the sweatshirt, Mega Man the snuggy pajamas, Mega Man the t-shirt, Mega Man the jacket, Mega Man the energy drink, Mega Man the air freshener. I think we got that one.
Mega Man the 4-foot-tall plushie.
This list?
Mega Man the backpack, Mega Man the tape, Mega Man the comic book, Mega Man the art book, Mega Man the soundtrack, Mega Man the action figure.
Cartoons,
That's about
which hasn't come out yet.
Mega Man the plush rush tissue box.
This really is a Spaceballs reference.
Let's play a fun time game of self-aware conspiracy theory, shall we?
Woo!
Yes.
Okay, so.
Wait. Do it in an Alex Jones voice.
Alright, they're fluoridating the water supply, and that's gonna bring back Mega Man. I'm Jesse Ventura, and I was the governor of Minnesota. Alex Jones, what are you doing behind my place of work? I'm gonna be surprised if there isn't a Pog Collector podcast that's not just called Pogcast. Like the 3 Pog Collectors still left in the world.
God.
Hey
I know
guys,
Jim
welcome
Sterling
to
is
episode.
one.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 46 of the Pogcast. My name is Samuel Hyde. I'm joined here with Jim Sterling.
Oh, what have we done?
Hey.
I just heard that name. You can't keep getting away with it.
Yes. There's levels of memes in this that I don't think most people. We're gonna cut all this out, aren't we?